In the United States, ICE agents are back in the headline for their latest deployment across American airports. ICE agents are being deployed to assist during a time when airport security officials are not being paid due to partial government shutdown. TSA employees and other officials have slammed the administration for not paying Airport Security Agency, but pumping in funds for ICE and deploying them instead.
On a personal level, I don't think we need them here. We need to be paid. Why would you bring another agency to be TSA when you already have TSA?
In TSA, I mean, that's what TSA is here for. They're here to be security. They're here to protect the people who are traveling. We don't need ICE agents to be doing that. We need for the administration to stop giving money to ICE and start giving it to the government entities who really need it.
ICE agents across airports have been seen without their masks, which the immigration officials have worn in previous instances, especially during violent crackdown and clashes with anti-ICE protesters. Democrats have also slammed the Trump administration for this move. Senate Minority Leader Chuck Schumer said that ICE agents are not trained for airport security protocols.
Everywhere ICE goes, trouble follows. We've seen that. And it is highly likely the airports will be no exception. No one trusts that ICE is going to make things better. Patrolling airports is not in ICE's job description. It's certainly not what they're trained to do. And let's be clear, ICE agents performing the work of TSA officers are not going to make our airports any safer. It's going to make them less safe because ICE agents aren't trained in airport security.
White House Immigration Czar Tom Homan earlier said that ICE has been deployed at 14 airports, including those in New York, Chicago, Atlanta and Houston. Authorities said the agents would provide crowd control. However, Donald Trump said that ICE agents could also make arrests. The statement has triggered criticism and raised concerns over a repeat of past incidents where ICE officials killed 2 U.S. citizens. Travelers are worried that similar tensions might play out in airports as well.
The nation's truckies are tonight at breaking point, warning their businesses will go bust if they don't pass on rising fuel costs. Some transport companies say the cost of filling up has jumped more than 80% since last month.
Ray Carlson has been a truckie since 1972. He's driven more than 10 million kilometres, or to the moon and back 13 times. Normally unflappable, he's been shocked by the sudden cost of filling his B-double with diesel.
It used to cost about $2,800. Now it's costing me over $5,000.
An extra cost Ray passes on, in part, through a fuel levy paid by the clients for the company he drives for.
Everything from plumbing supplies to new furniture to groceries and clothing across the retail industry.
Long-haul owner-operators particularly stung by steep fuel increases.
That could be all your profit gone and more, so you start running in the red.
The round trip between Brisbane and Mackay is 1,993 kilometres, for which a B-double truck consumes about 1,000 litres of diesel. That cost $1,629 in February. Today it'll cost $2,950, a price differential of more than $1,300, 1%.
A national emergency, and we need to act fast.
Many truckies on the hook for their fuel bill under contracts that predate the war in the Middle East, some of them not paid for up to 90 days.
Right now, it is absolute chaos on the ground, and I'm hearing from small to medium-sized companies that they are at absolute breaking point.
Our truckies deserve access to a fair go.
The government to remove the 6-month wait to renegotiate freight contracts, and diesel fuel standards will be lowered slightly to ease supply constraints.
A little more flexibility for refiners to switch between fuels as well.
But farmers are warning their costs, plus transport, will be a double whammy for shoppers.
It's a snowballing effect because it's costing us more to freight our commodities but also produce them.
The Fair Work Commission will tomorrow mediate talks between transport companies and industry to work out how best to handle rising fuel costs. But however they shake it, it'll be consumers who'll be paying. For at least as long as Donald Trump wages war on Iran, probably even longer. Andrew Probyn, 9 News.
There's been a surge in the number of service stations across the state running dry, with pressure now mounting on the government to make public transport free. While the Premier today called for a national response akin to the COVID era in the event of rationing and working from home rules.
The highest it's been, $3.15 for diesel at Rosebery. That's $236 to fill an average tank.
It's just going to get harder and harder to live.
At Freshwater, diesel not far behind at $3.09.
It's really hard to drive a car.
Prices like these are fueling a new push for free fares on trains and buses. The union wants it. Now the opposition wants it for Easter.
This will help families, it'll help small businesses and it will ease pressure at the pump. We think it's a no-brainer.
A great plan until the government knocked it on the head.
We're really looking for long-term solutions here rather than just a short-term fix.
Well, that's a shame. Like, why wouldn't they? Why wouldn't they support families? Why wouldn't they support business? Why wouldn't they ease pressure at the pump?
Today's prices caught the attention of senators in Canberra.
You look at $2.50, $3 a litre, and that stings.
The Greens also now calling for fare relief.
In a fuel crisis, free public transport just makes sense.
There are now 51 stations in New South Wales that have run dry, up from 35 yesterday. 164 stations are out of diesel, a big jump up from 105 the day before. Only yesterday, Premier Chris Minns said fuel rationing was unlikely. Today, he said, if it was introduced, it would need to be coordinated by all the states. One in, all in.
If demand management procedures are required, that might be rationing, that might be working from home. We're firmly of the belief that it should be a nationally consistent approach.
The cost of fuel is forcing a 6% increase in Uber fares, but that's a national average. More wealthy suburbs such as Mossman and Manly in the north and Bondi and Coogee in the east will pay more. Uber isn't saying by how much. Mark Burrows, 9 News.
I think the hard part will be finished once this truck will come back to the hall. If the thing returns with particles inside, then I would even say we've transported antiprotons. So the particles returned, the particles are still in the trap, so this was a success, thumbs up.
When sirens blare warnings of missiles incoming from Iran, Israelis have been streaming into shelters, metro stations, and basements. These have turned into temporary communities. Whether that's a bride-to-be posing with her family during a wedding photo shoot, or a yoga class held in an underground parking garage with kids riding scooters nearby. Under Tel Aviv's Discrepid bus station, dozens of families have moved full-time into tents. They go home for a few hours every day to cook and bring back food to share, creating an impromptu soup kitchen. Hospitals quickly instituted their underground emergency procedures. At Sheba Medical Center, a staffer tries to entertain a young patient in a makeshift ward set up in a parking garage. For many Israelis, heading to shelters is a familiar response shaped by past wars. Israel has an extensive system of private safe rooms and public shelters, unlike other nations across the region, including Iran and Lebanon, where residents are also seeking shelter from strikes.
Here now to weigh in, retired U.S. Army Major General Randy Manner. General, always great to speak with you. So let's talk about Pakistan. The Prime Minister there saying his country is ready to help facilitate an end to this war. President Trump continues to insist that Iran does want to make a deal. I want to listen to a little bit of what he has said.
They want very much to make a deal. We'd like to make a deal too. We're going to get together today by probably phone, because it's very hard to find a country. It's very hard for them to get out, I guess. But we'll at some point very, very soon meet. We're doing a 5-day period. We'll see how that goes. And if it goes well, we're going to end up with settling this. Otherwise, we'll just keep bombing our little hearts out.
All right, so the president commenting just yesterday there, but Iran continues to deny that any talks at all are happening, have happened. What is your reaction to this? Where do you think these negotiations stand?
It's very difficult to truly understand all the things that are happening behind the scenes. It's interesting that one side is saying, yes, we're talking, and another says we're not. I think in any situation, it's always what is happening that is not in the news that matters in this particular case. I am very hopeful that the president is, quite frankly, trying to be courageous to say, we can take care of this and stop this to the benefit of, quite frankly, everyone, while still, of course, safeguarding the United States from any kind of nuclear challenge that they may have, which, of course, has been apparently eliminated by virtue of what the president has said.
And so, as we just heard from Robert Sherman there, it doesn't appear that the war itself is ramping down. There are reports now of at least 4 impact sites in Tel Aviv from Iranian missiles. Israel launched heavy strikes overnight in Lebanon. Israel has already said that it expects several more weeks of fighting. So from your perspective, General, is there any indication that this is going to be winding down anytime soon?
I have some mixed perceptions about that because, indeed, the Pentagon is giving out conflicting information from what the president has said. I think the idea of perhaps alerting the 82nd Airborne Division could be, quite frankly, a very costly mistake. Long time ago, as a company commander in the 82nd, I was on the green ramp there at Fort Bragg, ready to go to protect U.S. interests when the Shah fell. And I, quite frankly, will tell you we were glad we did not go, because a airborne unit is extremely light, does not have very many arms, quite frankly. And again, in contrast to what happened in Iraq, where we sent over 100,000 soldiers, airmen, Marines, and sailors, in this particular case, a small force will not make a difference, and in fact will make them a huge target and will result in escalation. So I hope that indeed cooler heads will prevail, and there will be a way to de-escalate this situation.
And so we know shipping traffic through the Strait of Hormuz is still virtually non-existent. How do you think that plays into what happens next? And do you think there's really a clear path to getting it reopened safely?
I see no indications where this has been on the negotiating table yet, because Iran is denying any kind of participation. It's important for all the viewers to understand that Iran absolutely has a total vote on whether or not that strait stays open or closed. Some people think, well, you know, we can take out all the people or occupy the land around the strait. That will not work. That strait, Iran can hit ships from anywhere inside the country of Iran, anywhere. We have to understand that the missiles and the drones that are capable are far more sophisticated than any direct fire weapon that could be used in that area. So we must have a de-escalation, and then together with Iran to be able to reopen the straits. The president earlier had asked for other ships from other countries. That's not really feasible, not only because those ships can't get there quickly enough, but more importantly is they cannot protect themselves against drones in the same way the United States has the capability. So I think it's important to understand it will take weeks to reopen this, even if we assume some kind of a de-escalation and a ceasefire by all sides.
Thank you. Hey guys, Dabu7, we've got an alert put out here to use worldwide caution here for Americans on this March 22nd, 2026. A day that they're known for dropping sigils, symbolism. In here today, this security alert telling Americans worldwide that you can be targeted, or pretty much you are a target, to exercise increased caution, period, no matter where you're at, especially in the Middle East, is how they put it. So the Department of State advising Americans worldwide to exercise this caution. They say Americans abroad should follow the guidance and security alerts issued by the nearest U.S. embassy or consulate. That's from the State Department. And here recently, the embassies themselves already put out a warning and said, get out of here. Like, if you're anywhere in the Middle East, get out of here. All signs are pointing to this thing escalating up. There's going to be major events from here still. They just struck nuclear facilities today. So you can't believe a word that they say when they're wanting to wind it down or this is going to end soon. This is just getting going. And the Iranians said today they're done talking, that the West should get ready for major repercussions, big time. So when you start striking nuclear facilities and stuff like that, things are changing. And Colonel McGregor just put out a clip over on X saying that he thinks that Trump has already given Israel an ultimatum, saying that if you drop any kind of nuke whatsoever on Iran or anyone else, that you're going to get one dropped on you, basically. That's his opinion. We've got a lot of people out there saying something's about to happen. And now Trump, instead of paying the Department of Homeland Security to do their job, they are defunded right now like we are sitting ducks. And instead of having them out there doing their job, they're sending ICE in to airports. Telling you guys, the moves are being made. Join me on the live stream where I've got more time to break this down. Monday, Wednesday, and Friday, 8 p.m. Eastern, right here on W77. Be vigilant. Rather ominous timing here as the U.S. government has revealed this list of items that Americans should keep on hand in case of an emergency. Officials warning that households should be prepared to survive on their own for several days if disaster strikes, with no immediate access to outside help. This is DHS, the same DHS that's underfunded and shut down right now, which is a setup. They recommend storing enough water, food, and medical supplies to sustain every person in the household for at least 3 days. At the top of the list is water. They say this several times. They say 1 gallon per person per day, along with several days worth of non-perishable food. They go on here about people should get ready, but then say that they don't know what's going to happen between Iran and Trump. Of course, it's back and forth constantly. They were striking nuclear facilities. They mention nuclear fallout in this. We've talked about these things for years and years and years. And we're in a situation here where big things could happen. Small tactical nukes could fly. The grid could go down very easy. They actually warn of that in this, saying that the lights going out, grid going down, is going to be one of the major things here that Iran is capable of doing. I'm going to tell you that no one's going to miss this opportunity, whether it's them or not, to do something in this country. It seems something major's coming. This might be one of the only little warnings the average Joe gets out there. They're saying, hey, make sure that you've got something, some kind of list here put together. They also go on to state that you need to have an emergency communication plan with people that you know and a place to meet up. They stress this, saying that cell phones and power could be down for an extended amount of time. They talk about these emergency radios that run between $15 and $80, and that you should have extra batteries for it as well. You want to have first aid kits on hand? All those supplies. They say air quality could deteriorate quickly during one of these events. That you should have all the materials needed to seal your windows. And then additional supplies include prescription medication, eyeglasses, important documents, extra clothing, sturdy shoes, and personal hygiene items. So they emphasize preparedness should reflect the specific needs of each household, including children and the elderly, and including pets if you got them. That's a wide range. That's like full scale. They're saying get ready, have a checklist, have stuff on hand. They haven't put nothing out like this before that I can recall. They're directly citing the confrontation with Iran and blowback from it. While DHS is purposely down. Don't you ever forget that.